Hey guys, it's the Friendly Weirdo again with another fanfiction review or reading. You know, it's not really a review. Um, we're gonna actually read another fairy tale fanfiction today. This one is called Beware of Stripping. This is a fanfiction about Gray's stripping habit seemingly becoming contagious and infecting Natsu. So, we're gonna read this one and see how we like it. Yesterday had started out so well. The guild was as rowdy as ever. Gray and Natsu were fighting behind Urza's back as said woman ate her strawberry cake. Lucy walked in a few minutes later and sat down with Levy to discuss their favorite books. A certain Iron Dragon Slayer and Cat stalked them from afar. Elfman was fighting the men in the guild as Evergreen tried to get his attention through insults. Wendy was assuring a heartbroken Happy that Carla didn't hate him. uh, everyone else was doing their usual routine. Gray, Natsu, your clothes, Kana advised. Everyone thought the brunette was officially drunk when she said Natsu's name in that phase, but when they looked back, all jaws dropped. Natsu indeed was missing his clothes. What the fuck? The fire maid shrieked. Lucy and Lisana blushed deeply while the rest of the guild laughed. Who's the pervert now? Gray taunted while Natsu shook an angry fist at him. Damn it, Snowcone, your stripping habit is contagious. Lucy opened her eyes. She had a very good rest, even after yesterday's. Sorry about that. Lucy opened her eyes. She had a very good night's rest, even after yesterday's events. Everywhere she went with Natsu, the guys somehow always managed to strip, and it left them both frustrated. Master Makarov suggested that Natsu was unconsciously copying Gray, almost like yawning after seeing someone else do it. So he sent the Dragon Slayer home, away from the Ice Mage in hopes that he'll stop that habit. She hoped he did. Otherwise, she didn't know how much more she could take of it. She heard surprisingly light snores and realized that there was a heavy arm draped over her waist. How did she not notice? That's the exact same question I have, honestly. The celestial wizard turned her head back, spotting the pink spikes of her partner. She smiled softly. Normally she would have out Lucy kicked him, I forgot the him there, out the window, but after the time she spent with him, it's weirder if he wasn't sleeping in her bed. And maybe, just maybe, it could also be for the tiny little fact that she had developed feelings for the most destructive member of Fairy Tale. She nuzzled against her pillow. She had prepared to rest a bit longer when she caught something on the ground. 4 feet away from her were Natsu's shirt, pants, and sandals. Lucy's face flushed scarlet red. Does that mean Her question was answered when she felt himself scoot closer to her. His bare legs rubbed her own, and something that wasn't his leg, ooh, pressed against her thigh. She felt like her whole body was on fire. Ah! She shrieked, elbowing the sleeping mage in the stomach. Ah! Natsu grunted. He pulled his arm back, clenching onto his injured tummy as the blonde jumped off the bed. What the hell, Lucy? He wheezed. What the hell with you? What are you doing here? She yelled, pointing an accusing finger in his direction. He frowned. That's rude. He didn't answer her question. I don't care. I don't want you near me while you strip. When did I? He paused and looked under the covers. Shit, stupid ice princess. Get out! She screamed. But Luce, Gramps said I have to be away from Gray, not you. Not while you have this weird stripping habit. Come on, Luce. I wouldn't mind if you were stripping. There was a moment of silence. Outside of the apartment complex, the passing residents of Strawberry Street heard a loud "Pervert!" before seeing a naked pink-haired man, it says here, pink-haired man fly out the window and land in the canal. A few seconds later, clothes were thrown out that same window. It's another day in Magnolia. Stop following me, the female whined as Natsu continued to walk with her. She had been on her way to a new clothing store that just opened up when the fire mage decided to follow her. Lucy, he whined, I'm bored. Go play with Happy then. He's hanging out with Wendy and Carla today, and I want to play with you too. The two girls walked by, giggled when they heard that phrase. The blonde merely groaned. She felt an arm snake its way across her shoulders, bringing her closer to Fairy Tale Salamander, and his free hand grabbed the hand closest to him. There we go, he proudly stated. What do you think you're doing? She hissed, her cheeks glowing pink. She tried to pull away, but the male didn't let her go. If my hands are holding on to something, then I can't strip. Natsu explained as if it was the most obvious thing. Let go! This is embarrassing, she muttered, the pink never leaving her cheeks. How come? I think it's nice. To make his point, his grip tightened on her shoulder before squeezing her hand. Natsu! Fine. He unwillingly removed his hands and crossed his arms. He looked away from her, pouting. She saw his fallen expression and guilt shot through her instantly. It's not bad, she said unconsciously, rubbing one of her forearms. People will get the wrong idea. They'll think we're together. But we are together. I meant, like boyfriend and girlfriend, Lucy whispered. It was only because of Natsu's great hearing that he heard her. I don't get it. What's wrong with that? He asked while the blonde stared up at him. I don't think that's a bad thing, do you? Her heart leaped. She looked away, not wanting him to see her flushed face. He didn't mean... Could he? She snuck a peek in his direction, seeing that he was still watching her with a serious look. Shyly, she broke eye contact and looked down. The blonde's eyes widened. Natsu, your clothes! Said male looked down and saw that he was only in his boxers and scarf. Shit! As Natsu tried to find his clothes, women of all ages blushed and openly ogled at her companion. By all ages, do you mean children too? Because that's fucking weird, if that's the thing. Their lustful eyes followed his well-toned, muscular body as he moved around, bending and unconsciously flexing as he continued to search. She would be lying if she said it didn't bother her. When he finally found his clothes and put them on, Lucy grabbed his scarf and dragged him down the street. Many of those perverted women glared at the blonde, and the blonde made sure to glare at them just as hard. Lucy? Shut it, Natsu. Obviously you can't walk around here without attracting attention, so I'm taking you home. Unbeknownst to her, the Dragon Slayer saw the look she was sending those women, and he couldn't stop the small, satisfied smirk from reaching his face. They reached Natsu's home in a few minutes. Thankfully, the male didn't take off any of his clothes on the way there. She had originally been planning on just leaving him there, but the male was persistent and dragged her into his dirty house. Natsu, again? I just cleaned your house last week, the Celestial Maid screeched, as she carefully avoided stepping on some leftover food. That's disgusting. No one asked you to, he mumbled. She sent him a glare. He flinched and laughed nervously. She sighed dramatically. What am I going to do with you? I should just charge you and Happy for the work I do. It's not easy cleaning up this place. But you're the one that comes here and cleans our house without telling us, you weirdo, she shouted as he pointed at her. Lucy was about to throw her own remark, but she noticed that the male had no clothes on. Her face burst with colors, steam coming out from out of her ears as she covered her eyes so she wouldn't see any more of his private area. Natsu, clothes, now! Without realizing it, she moved backwards with her eyes and tripped on one of his weights. Ugh. She shrieked and hit her head against the floor. Ouch! She muttered. Lucy, are you okay? Her teammate panicked. The blonde opened her eyes and found the pink-haired Dragonslayer hovering over her. His hands were at either side of her head as his knees pressed against her thighs. His eyes held nothing but pure concern for her. The intensity of his gaze had really given her stomach butterflies. Yeah, she breathed. He looked relieved but continued to stay over her. Her blush remained in place, and unconsciously she tilted her head down. Her eyes traveled to his waist and saw that he was at least wearing his boxers. Thank Mavis. Why do you look so tense? He mumbled. The sound of his voice caused her to look back up at his face. She let out a humorless laugh. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's a guy hovering over me practically naked. You don't act this way like this. You don't act like this way with Gray, he pointed out. No, but you're different. You don't do this all the time. What if I'm stuck with this stripping habit forever? Her face officially rivaled Urza's hair color. What are you talking about, you idiot? You're not too dragging you. You'll break out of this for sure, or be known as as a pervert forever. He laughed before brushing his thumb against her cheek. I'm not a pervert, you weirdo. Plus, this is kind of fun. Ignoring his last action, the girl rolled her eyes. Yeah, for you maybe, but not for me. Yeah, you should have seen your face when those girls were checking me out. You were jealous, he teased. I was not, she denied quickly. Was too. Was not. Was too. Was not. The male sighed again while the poor red-faced teen pouted. I wasn't. Sure. She looked away, still pouting. Why would I be jealous? She huffed. Natsu hummed before looking back into her eyes. I don't know. Why would you? The blonde, brown-eyed girl was silent. She refused to make contact with him. She knew why, and she was certain he knew as well. So why was he still here? There was no way someone as simple-minded as him would ever be into a girl like her. Just wasn't programmed in his childlike brain. So was he here to make fun of her? Was Happy going to pop out of nowhere and yell, "You like him?" before the two burst out into laughter? "I'll try and stop it," he said, breaking her train of thought. "The stripping, I mean. Lucy doesn't like being jealous, so I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't happen. I don't like seeing you sad." He was sweet, thinking about her feelings in a situation like this. Though he didn't always act like it, he did take his friend's feelings into consideration. He was always honest with them, so maybe she should be honest with him too. Lucy propped herself up with her elbows, and when it looked like he was going to remove himself from her, she wrapped her arms around his neck and covered his lips with her own. She felt his breath hitch up, and she pulled away embarrassed, and she could tell the male was still in shock. "That's why," the blonde whispered. Natsu snapped out of his daze and sent her a confused gaze. "That's why you what?" Half of the shyness she was feeling disappeared. Annoyance could clearly be detected in her tone. "That's why I was jealous, okay? I like you," she mumbled. He blinked before he flashed his genuine bright smile. "Why didn't you just say so, you weirdo?" She looked like she was ready to Lucy kick him, so the dragon slayer quickly kissed her, placing one of his hands behind her head to support her. Lucy closed her eyes, letting out a light moan before pulling him onto the floor. He didn't mind. The celestial mage decided that just this once she was going to let his almost naked body cover her own. That she wasn't going to mind the natural heat that came from his warm body, nor did she mind running her hands through the muscles that only reflected a portion of his strength. She avertedly chuckled. "Yeah, right. Like this was only going to happen once, especially with the new stripping habit. Ooh, there's an extended ending. Let's read, shall we?" Happy flew into the house, gently closing the door behind him. It was late, and he didn't want to wake up his adopted father. "I always thought there were more brothers than parents, but you do you." The blue exceed spotted the pink-haired teen in his hammock with a sleeping blonde lying next to him. Not too lazily opened one of his eyes. "Yo," he welcomed quickly. Happy flew up to the pair, a mischievous grin on his face. "You like each other." But not to only grin. "Damn right." The small cat gasped, lowering his voice so he wouldn't wake up Lucy. "So it worked?" "Yeah, it did." Happy giggled. "Lucy's so weird." The fire dragon slayer chuckled lightly, unconsciously running a hand through her sunshine-colored hair before sending a loving gaze in the girl's direction. "Yeah, she thinks I have a strip. She thinks I strip now." Not and Happy laughed again. "Honestly, like stripping would ever be contagious. Even these two idiots knew that." And that was Beware of Stripping. So, what did I think of this? I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. I liked kind of like the general concept of it. I thought it was very entertaining. Like, you never really see, like, Natsu coming up with these plans like this. Like, sometimes he'll figure out things out of dumb luck. But there are some fan fictions that actually give him, like, time to showcase some really good ideas. And, like, this was one of them. And, like, something it wouldn't work in real life if he didn't have somebody like Gray. So honestly, he should be thanking Gray for this. Like, send him a few Christmas cards, why don't you? Um, sorry about that, but for the most part, the grammar was good, the characterization was good, the story was well done, and aside from a few issues, the grammar was fine. So yeah, I would highly recommend this one. So I'm gonna leave it in the description, the link to this, and please, I don't want to keep telling people this, but I know somebody will, but please do not, do not go send hate or harassment to this guy or girl. I don't know which they are. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes, honestly, online. Um, just give them some constructive criticism, some critiques, or whatever. Just don't go at them with hate, because I want this series to be nice and fun. We have fun here. That's what I want to do. So on that note, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend. I'm the Friendly Weirdo, signing off.